Welcome to the Generosity Experience, the podcast from Neon One, where we explore how our community show generosity, not just through money, but through relationships, time, and advocacy. I'm Tim Sarantonio.
And I'm Sam Nyland. Together, we help nonprofit professionals connect more deeply with their communities, move supporters to meaningful action, and simplify how generosity gets done.
Each conversation brings forward the voices and insights that are shaping the future of generosity, from strategy to systems, and everything in between.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Products with Purpose. I am here with, again, the wonderful Anna Van Cleef, who has recently been promoted to VP of Product Management. Hi, Anna.
Hello. Excited to be here.
Yes. Well, happy to have you back. So we are entering into the fall months, and what that means also here at Neon is we have some really exciting updates in the works. So I wanted to chat with you to let all of our listeners know about some of our upcoming enhancements. And let's start with peer-to-peer.
Yeah, we have a very exciting new launch coming, or rather, by the time this releases, it's already here as it relates to our next generation of peer-to-peer. And so within our Neon CRM solution, we are launching kind of a full replacement for our legacy solution here. Now, of course, we still have Neon Fundraise, love and adore it. We're really focused on those endurance events and many kind of larger and more unique aspects of peer-to-peer campaigns that you might have. But we're launching our next generation of peer-to-peer within the CRM to really support those customers who are looking to have a peer-to-peer campaign simply just to drive that network and that community engagement. Having teams is also possible. But one of the things we're really excited about with this launch is that we're improving the experience of the users of our product, our admins or kind of back-end users. We're improving the experience for fundraisers, those people who are fundraising on behalf of your nonprofit, and for the end user, the donor, the supporter. And so all of those experiences are being improved based on having new and improved landing pages and visuals and a new fundraiser portal and so much more. There's also the side benefit with this of two things. One, for those customers with Neon Pay, they're now going to have all of our transaction-based reports that they can see all of the fees, including the peer-to-peer and the Neon Pay fees for payment processing, and also those covered fees, right? When our its supporters or the supporters and the end users are covering those fees for you. Of course, all of that still being part of it. And we're also improving some of the landing pages. So even if some of our customers choose not to engage or they don't have a peer-to-peer campaign at the time that they're trying to drive, they're still going to see a lot of improvements to that landing page, being able to show supporters and much more. So we're really excited about our peer-to-peer launch and also some of the side benefits for all of our customers.
Yeah, fantastic. Speaking of peer-to-peer, if we have some listeners that maybe are on the fence or like, hey, I'm thinking about potentially launching my first peer-to-peer campaign, can you give us just some general ideas for the types of peer-to-peer campaigns that can be run with some of this new functionality?
Yeah. So we would certainly say if you're having like a back to school, a little late for that, but you could still do that for the future. Or if you're having like a campaign for end of year, or if you're trying to do some things for Giving Tuesday, or if you're trying to do some things around a specific event and connecting those, not necessarily our endurance-based events, we would still say that's really great from a Neon Fundraise perspective. But for other types of events or other types of engagements, or you're bored and they need to do fundraising on your behalf, like all of those things would be great within the next generation peer-to-peer.
Great. Yeah, thinking about seasonality and fall and the holidays coming up, some type of holiday drive or community food drive or something like that. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Great. Any other smaller releases that you want to touch on that we have this month outside of the peer-to-peer realm?
We have a couple of things as it relates to our event solution. We're introducing categories for our next generation events, as well as statements, whether it's a waiver statement or a policy communication that you're just needing folks to accept and document. All of those are coming, and we're really excited. We also have something in beta. For those that are part of our beta program, we're excited to be able to do something new. I won't spoil it for the future, but we're excited about our beta program participants.
Yeah, so we'll leave you hanging on the edge there.
Right.
So that's a good wrap. Thanks, Anna, for joining us and letting us know what's coming in September. I'm sure the next time we are talking will be at Generosity Xchange, and we can all find Anna at Generosity Xchange. She's going to be talking a lot about the future state of our products at Neon One. So stay tuned and go sign up for GX. Thanks, Anna.
See you there. Bye, y'all.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I am thrilled to have Anne Gingerich, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Association of Nonprofit Organizations, also known as PANO. We will be referring to that today, with us. So, Anne, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so excited to join you.
Yeah, so let's start with you. Can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself and your journey into the nonprofit sector?
I can. I grew up in a pastor's family in Minnesota, so I'm actually a Midwest girl. And I think in part because of growing up in a family that was focused on service, I ultimately ended up going to social work school and graduated with my undergraduate degree in social work. And I did a lot of internships through my social work educational experience and learned through that while I enjoyed working with all kinds of groups of people, I wasn't as energized by working with specific groups of individuals like the elderly or children or people with serious mental illness, and instead found myself more focused on systems, both internal to the organizations that I was working with, or ultimately I ended up in doing what we call in social work macro practice. So focusing on systems and policy issues more than working with, which ultimately serves the people and the individuals that many nonprofits work with.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I feel like I meet so many or have met so many people in my career who have that social work lens, and obviously working with the nonprofits, but having just kind of that systematic lens is really important. So thank you, for kind of sharing that journey and kind of speaking of that perspective. Can you walk us a little bit through how PANO and the National Council of Nonprofits support organizations in ways people might not necessarily realize?
Absolutely. I'm always thrilled to talk about our work. And I'm going to start with PANO, or the Pennsylvania Association of Nonprofit Organizations, and then talk a bit about how we work with the National Council and other state associations around the country like PANO. Many states have associations like PANO. So if you're listening from any other state, you should go look up on the National Council of Nonprofits website to see who your nonprofit association might be. I generally talk about PANO as the organization that provides all things nonprofit governance and management for nonprofits. And so as a social worker, I wasn't necessarily trained in how to put a budget together or how to manage people or how to work with a board of directors. And those are the kinds of trainings and supports that PANO offers to our members and actually the entire nonprofit community in Pennsylvania all the time. So last year, for example, we did 88 webinars and workshops on anything from serving on a board to putting together a budget to managing people. We also have a nonprofit help desk. It's called Ask PANO, and any nonprofit in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania can reach out to us through our website and fill that form out, and we generally get back to that nonprofit with an answer to their question within 48 hours. And we do that with a very big and wide and deep network of experts in human resources, lawyers, and other people that are experts in the financial space. So we have the nonprofit help desk. We also do we do some in-person trainings, and one of those is our conference, which I know we'll be talking about here in a little bit. And the one thing that I really want to call out, because I don't know that nonprofits know that we do this, but PANO, like many state associations, was founded to pay attention to the laws and regulations that matter to the entire nonprofit community, particularly at the state level. There's many associations that are cause related. So organizations like the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Domestic Violence, they're very much focused on laws and regulations that matter to that particular group. We pay attention to all the nerdy things that matter to the entire nonprofit community. So, for example, in 2025, a new law went into effect where every single nonprofit needs to file an annual report. It's simple. But nonprofits may lose their tax exempt status if they don't stay in compliance with that new law. So we try to keep people up to date with that. The other thing that we do in the advocacy space is we do a nice bit of training on how 501c3s can and should lobby for their issues and their causes. And I have seen this year more than any other time in the 11 years that I've been here, 501c3s who are all interested in knowing what they can do and how they can lobby and what the limitations are on that. And our message is there are a few, but there's not many. And so please go meet up with your local, state, and federal representatives to make a difference on the issues and the causes that you care about. So then I'm going to circle back to the relationship that we have with the National Council of Nonprofits. We are one of 40 to 50 members with the National Council. Most, if not all, of the other state associations are also members of the National Council, and it's a fairly lean network, and it's pretty agile as a result of that. So when there is a federal level issue and the National Council gets the word out that we need to go talk to our members of Congress, we can not only do that as PANO, we bring our members with us, whether that is through gathering stories up from our members and or inviting our members and other nonprofits to share their stories in partnership with us in congressional meetings. And so we are able to do our federal level advocacy work because of the National Council of Nonprofits. And then the other thing that we are so grateful for at PANO is we have a network of peers around the nation who do exactly what we do. And so being able to connect with them is a really valued part of our membership with the National Council. And then we bring that home and we try to develop membership engagement with our members that is not dissimilar with that we experience with the National Council. So because we value peer connection so much, one of the things that PANO leans into in everything that we do, whether it's an online training or a phone call, if someone calls in for support, we focus on the connections that we have with our membership here in Pennsylvania.
Wow, it sounds like there's a ton of moving pieces. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. There's a lot of connections being made. Can you talk just a little bit about kind of moving into or transitioning into Neon One and the Neon One space? How Neon CRM kind of helps PANO keep everything running smoothly?
You are correct that there are a lot of moving parts. We, as a membership organization, the part of Neon that drew us in initially was our membership database. So when people join as members, they do so through Neon. It helps us track our membership year over year. It sends reminders out on our behalf when memberships are due. We also use it for our event registration. So I mentioned that we had 88 webinars last year. All of that registration and event management is done through Neon, and there's excellent integration with letting us know who members are versus non-members are. And so when a member logs in or registers for one of our events, they're able to do that and easily get the member discount on that event. That's an example of that. The other thing that we use it for are to set up forms for working with our corporate sponsors or partners. So, for example, we have a conference coming up here in a couple weeks, and our conference sponsorship form was developed on the back end of Neon and then um, made live, and all of our sponsors, or most of our sponsors, have registered and paid for their sponsorships through that online form, which again integrated with their accounts in Neon. And so that was really helpful. We track our fundraising campaigns on the back end of Neon, so that's helpful. And I think the other thing that I want to call out is that we use Neon for our email communication. So when we first joined Neon, we had been using Constant Contact. There was some really great integration with that as well, but we have since gone to using the Neon email platform as well, which is really helpful. Again, Neon tracks who opens our emails, how many emails are sent out, and all the things you want to know on the back end for tracking your communication and the responses to that communication. And then the last thing I'm going to call out is that we have a platform. We use a platform called UJoin, which is our advocacy platform. The thing we've appreciated about with Neon is that there's a really wonderful integration with UJoin. And so people who sign up for our campaigns that we send out to both the state legislators and members of Congress, all of those contacts are tracked in Neon, and we have one place to go to for that information, which is really helpful. One of the things that's happening right now in Pennsylvania, because there's not enough happening everywhere else, is we are experiencing a budget impasse, meaning that our General Assembly has not passed a budget for the fiscal year 25-26, is creating great harm to people in communities everywhere. And so I imagine that at some point in the next number of weeks, we will be integrating and getting the word out to our members to reach out to their members of the General Assembly here in Pennsylvania. And again, we'll capture everyone who engages in that campaign through Neon.
Yeah, it sounds like Neon CRM has really been a help in streamlining all of your work in housing everything in kind of a unified space.
Mm-hmm.
I know you spoke on your upcoming conference, and I know that we are excited to be sponsoring the conference. My colleague, I know Tim, actually was the one who filled out that form. So he had some great comments to say when filling out that form. But can you tell us just a little bit about the conference and what it is and who will be joining?
I would love to. We're very excited about it. We tend to organize our conference around a theme, and this year the theme that rose up for us resulted in what the theme is, which is meeting the moment rooted together. And meeting the moment, I believe, is pretty obvious. There's a lot of things happening at the federal level in this time when organizations and people are losing trust in their public institutions. They are leaning into relationship and trust with each other in a way I've never seen before. And so the relationship building with each other, the need for connection with each other, has risen to the top, and that is why we landed on the meeting the moment rooted together and focusing in at the conference on making those connections possible and making them happen through how the conference is structured and how we strongly encourage interaction between participants, including those who sponsor and those who attend as registrants. So we're excited about the people who will be coming. We have people attending from across all types of nonprofits. One of the reasons why individuals enjoy coming to PANO's conference is because they get to meet people who are outside their own circles. So the arts folks and working with and talking with and communicating with people from food insecurity or people who work with people with intellectual disabilities. And it meets one of our goals, which is to enhance collaboration both within sectors and across subsectors within the nonprofit community.
Yeah, I think that's really motivating, or would probably be a very motivating conference to attend, just because you're exactly right. You're so in line with kind of the folks that share your same mission, or kind of are doing these same types of fundraising campaigns and things like that. So I bet it leaves room and breeds a lot of room for future innovation and just ideas and motivation at the end of the day.
I will add, the other thing that we've seen this year, and I mentioned it earlier, is that the nonprofit community is really leaning into lobbying more and advocating more. And there's a whole track on advocacy, and how nonprofits can do that, and with tools being presented to those who attend to be able to do that both within their own organizations, but then also in partnership with other groups and people in the room.
So it gives them a chance to just kind of network, essentially, and meet
Yes.
those fellow folks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about the budget impasse a little bit, just because it's so immediate. And there are some organizations that have already closed their doors because they are not getting money from the state. And there are real people in real communities that are hurting today as a result. And the only way we will really make a difference is if we do that in a collective way. So right now we have a survey that's still open, being promoted by 14 or 15 statewide or regional associations or groups that we're gathering data so that we can better tell our story to the media and to the legislators. So it's that collective effort that really makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we can link that to this episode.
Absolutely.
Let's do that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it sounds like it's going to be an incredible conference. And also just looking ahead, speaking of conferences, I know that you will also be joining us, I believe, alongside Diane Yentl, and also a local nonprofit within your area, at our Generosity Xchange event in October. So is there any questions or anything that you wish I'd asked today that maybe you'd want to make sure to cover then at Generosity Xchange?
I think it would be interesting to hear how Diane might talk about the network and how her perception. She's a new leader. She's done an amazing job this year. The inauguration happened, I think, 3 weeks after she started at the National Council, and she jumped in with all feet and hands, and has been a wonderful leader through this time. So it'd be interesting to hear her perspective on the National Council of Nonprofits network as a new leader, and then make the connection down to how the state associations also have their own networks, which we bring into the National Council of Nonprofits space. So talking about the connections, the importance of working together and leaning into trust with each other at the local, which we're connected to the local level, at the state level, and at the federal level.
Yeah, no, that's a really great point and really great question to ask, just seeing how everything is connected and how we can make a greater impact collectively as a whole. So, well, Anne, thank you so much for taking the time to share, I mean, all of your insights, your background. You're definitely a different guest that we've had on, working more systemically with nonprofits versus with individuals directly. So we're excited to see everything PANO continues to do, and to catch up with you at Generosity Xchange. Excited for your upcoming conference. But any final topics or thoughts that you wanted to leave our listeners with?
If anyone is in Pennsylvania, please come to PANO.org to find out more about PANO and how you can connect. And I'll do a final push for the fact that we have scholarships available. Organizations usually end up cutting membership dues and professional development fees when they're facing a budget crisis. So we feel very fortunate to be able to offer those scholarships for the conference. You can reach out to me for those. It's Anne@pano.org. And again, go to pano.org to find out more about what we do and how you can get involved.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Anne. And we will be sure to link all of that in today's episode as well. But thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in October.
Thank you so much.
Sam, that was a pretty fantastic episode.
Yeah, I really enjoyed chatting with Anne. And I think, as I mentioned, I think in the interview, it was really around systems. And we don't get to hear a lot about how we're supporting nonprofit systems. So yeah, it was wonderful talking with Anne.
Well, I'm excited to see her. I'm excited to see Anna Van Cleef and the entire product team. Just kind of, well, not every product. There's a lot of people in product. That would be ridiculous to bring everybody in product on stage. But kind of the leadership there is going to be going over a lot of stuff. So we're actually going to give folks a bit of a break because we're going to do a much deeper dive on basically the entirety of next month's kickoff episode. Me and Sam are going to go over Generosity Xchange, all the mailbag, all the hotline type stuff from that you might have. So if you want to submit things that you want us to make sure that we touch on for the event, then please go ahead and use that submission. But Sam, what are you excited? Because you're going to be actually managing the entire tech stage for GX. So I'm on the main stage. You got the tech stage. So anything that people should be excited about before they go to neon1.com/GX.
Good plug. So I'll be facilitating the tech stage. And we have a lot in store in terms of client representation. The tech stage is all about how organizations are actively using Neon One tools to further their mission, to further their day-to-day kind of back-end admin. So anything from fundraising campaigns and initiative to building events and tracking registration and attendees and checking people in and talking about what works and what doesn't work when throwing an event of all different types. We have some organizations talking about, or one organization particularly, who we interviewed in prior Generosity Experience podcast about volunteer. So we've done a lot of improvements over the course of the past year to Neon CRM with volunteer management. So diving into ways that organizations are using that module. So yeah, just a lot of client representation. I think people learn best from other people doing similar things. So we're excited.
Well, I feel like we finally lived into the vision that I had a few years ago, which was ultimately we wanted to create a platform and exchange where people can connect with each other, and with basically half the speakers, actual nonprofit leaders in the Neon One ecosystem. This is like an amazing time. So
yeah, and that's the point of Generosity Xchange, right? It's not us talking to you; it's actual clients talking amongst one another.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. It's a full October's all GX. So we got 2 episodes, me and Sam. We're going to do a preview and then we're going to do a recap. That's the second episode. So we're very excited about that. Sam, where can people go again if they forgot what I just said a few seconds ago on registration?
You can go to neon1.com/GX.
Thanks for listening to the Generosity Experience. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platform. We'll see you in 2 weeks.